Because I've had people say, "Oh, he's just like a huckster," or all that kind of stuff. I never looked at it that way ever.
It is. I find it interesting. Yeah, because people always think these people, even if they are in effect ripping off people and hucksters, that sometimes they can be that, but also sincerely believe it themselves. And there is also a it's a slightly separate issue of, are you taking money off people is slightly different to, well, do you believe it? I mean, you can conceivably sincerely believe this thing, plus as an extra be sort of taking advantage of people.
Right. Well, you can get yourself into a situation. I can see with this character that perhaps more than anything, he just liked having people around him, and he did like this investigation of the human mind and this life and all these kinds of large philosophical questions. He is a guy who's definitely hungry for that kind of stuff. And if anything, his downfall just becomes having a group of people following you and wanting to know answers, and getting to the place where you're not just curious about the questions, but you feel that you have to provide the answers. That's when it starts to get more complicated and peculiar, when that kind of can overtake you, and you probably get further and further away from shore, and feeling like just an amateur archaeologist of the mind and that kind of stuff. I mean, he's not without a lot of ego and a lot of hubris, and he says kind of grandiose things that are, I find them kind of charming, and funny, so full of himself. But you're right, it doesn't exclude that you can care about somebody, just because you've got a big, flashy signature doesn't mean that you're not a compassionate person. I think he'd love to. I think he wants nothing more than to fix Freddie. He would love it, and not just to put on his mantelpiece as a kind of notch in his belt. Look what I can do, but for his own humanity, for Freddie's humanity. Yeah, yeah.
And you said last night at the Q&A that this was, I think, ghost stories. It was almost a yeah. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it just comes up. It just comes up in that era, and all that. It just gets you thinking about ghosts. It really does. I never spent so much time thinking about ghosts and what and what that stuff is, and until I started getting into this movie, and it just feels so. I understand it. I understand this idea of linking to another time, another world, sort of ghosts. Oh God, I'm not articulating this well. It's more of a feeling than anything else. Casper the Friendly Ghost we have playing in the movie theater in the film, and that's a kind of creation of the 50s. That's like early 1950s. Who says ghosts have to be spooky and scary? Why can't they be nice? Why can't they try? They're just trying to be our friends. And you get into this stuff when you talk about time travel and all this kind of stuff that the master's talking about. The master's sort of going on about linking yourself to the past, and it all feels really good until that kind of moment when you really want to say, okay, I want to travel back in time. I want to go get that lost love. I want to go hold her hand. And that's when you hit a wall, when you can't. It kind of makes it something wonderful that you can do in your mind when you close your eyes. But when you really want to go back and grab that thing, it's not there. You can't do it.
Wow. That's a melancholy way to end the interview.
There he goes again. Melancholy. Yeah. Is it, though? I guess it is.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, P.T. Anderson, and for bringing us this great film, The Master.
It was kind of melancholy. I didn't call it.
Sunday Night Safran.